Hello, welcome to Look Smarter Than You Are with Hyperion Planning. We'll be going over how to build a simple web form in planning, as well as how to create validation rules, column and row formulas, and a rolling forecast. Let's start with the basics. What is a Hyperion Planning web form? Simply put, a web form or data form is a place where end users can input and validate data that is stored in Essbase. Unlike ad hoc grids, web forms contain predetermined intersections of data that the users can work with. Users with access, meaning those with roles such as administrator or interactive user, may create and edit the layout of the web forms. They are accessible through the Planning web application or through SmartView. Web forms are organized into form folders for easy navigation, and security may also be applied. There are two possible types of web forms: simple and composite. In this video, we'll be covering the web form, as well as validation rules, column and row formulas, and rolling forecast. Before we get into the demonstration, let's go over the form layout components. The Layout tab is where we define what intersections of data we are retrieving from Essbase to display in Planning. A dimension can exist in the POV, which is the point of view, page, row, or column. By default, the dimensions are all located in the POV. The POV section allows only one member from each dimension assigned to the POV. The page section allows multiple member selections, and the dimensions housed here will display on the web form as a drop-down menu. The rows and columns define what will display on the form itself. More than one dimension can be placed in a row or column, and multiple rows and columns can be created. Now that we've gone through that, let's go through some of the other features in a step-by-step demonstration. Go to Forms by using the navigation above or using the left pane. Then go to Action and click Create a Simple Form, or just click the Simple Form icon. Give your form a name and description if you'd like. In the Layout tab, left-click and hold, then drag the dimensions into the desired layout sections. Here I am dragging the period and years dimension into the columns and the entity dimension into the rows. For the demo's sake, I will drag scenario into the page section. Use the member selector to choose which members you would like for each dimension. There are filtering options available, so we don't have to waste any time getting to the exact member you are looking for. Here I am selecting all level 0 descendants for the income statement member. Take note of the other options available in the member selector, such as the search function and display options. We also have the option to type in member names rather than use the member selector. Use this functionality when you are sure of the exact member and spelling of the member that you want. In most cases, in order to input data and submit to Essbase via a form, you will need to include level 0 members. Here, for the entity dimension, I am adding level 0 entity members. You can select multiple members by using the Shift key and adding them to the right. If you want to remove some members, you can select the members you do not want and then click the Remove arrow. Check the box below if you would like the entity members to have their own rows. We can hard-code a year and month to this form, but let's set up a rolling forecast instead to make things more interesting. Right-click the column, then select Rolling Forecast Setup. Write a prefix for the substitution variables that will be created with this setup. Indicate the start year, start period, and number of periods, then click Generate. Substitution variables will be created automatically in Planning. We can preview the form before it is complete. You can see that Scenario in the Page section is a drop-down menu. Now let's add a formula to this form. Right-click the rows and select Add Formula Row. Give the formula a name and navigate to the segment properties for the formula row, in this case, row 6. Add the formula in the space provided. Here, I am just totaling rows 1 through 5. While I'm typing the formula here in the right pane, I should mention that there are many property options that can change the nature of the form, and it is useful to know what is available. Now let's create a sample validation rule. Open Validation Rules and click the green plus icon. Indicate the location and name of the rule. Use the interface provided to set conditions for the rule. Here, I am setting a simple rule stating that if the current cell value in row 6 does not equal the numeric value of 1, then we will process the cell in a way we will specify. Set the process cell properties. Select the cell background color. In this case, I'm going to pick a magenta-like color. And write the validation message that will display if the rule is not met. The validation message lets users know what went wrong. Validate the rule, and if there are no errors, click OK. The green highlighting in the Layout tab indicates that a rule has been set. Click Finish to see your beautiful form. Once the form is finished, navigate over to the form you created, then open to view or input data. Currently, there is nothing input into the form. See how the last row is magenta due to the validation rule? Once I input and save data, the row formula totals the amount and the cell is no longer colored due to the validation rule.